What's up, guys? We are back with a full slate of NBA action here on Thursday, February 27th. We're going to break down every NBA game tonight. We're also going to look at a bunch of the biggest college basketball games on the slate. We're going to look at bets on the side and over-under, and make sure to check that pinned comment throughout the day to see if there's any changes as injury news and player availability is confirmed. Wednesday, guys, not the best, not the worst. We finished things up 2-2 on the day. We had the Knicks -10. That should have been a blowout win, but they just could not find a way to, hold on to a big lead when they would take one. We had the Kings -8.5, though. That was an easy cash. Give me the Sacramento Kings there. That was a nice win. They easily covered that 8.5 points. We also had Syracuse -1.5. That was a comfortable win there for Syracuse, a team that I feel like is being chronically undervalued right now. We had Villanova -7.5. That was a really annoying one, guys. They ended up winning the game by 5 points after being down 21-33 in the first half. They came out absolutely flat in that first half. They showed in the second half they should have won this game easily by double digits. So that's a pretty annoying loss. We go 2-2 on the day. We break even pretty much, but yeah, an annoying day for sure, guys. Let's get back in the win column. Hit that like button. Let's find a way to get this video to 1,000 likes so I can give away another hoodie. Also, subscribe to the channel once we get to 50,000 subscribers. We're at somewhere around 48,300 or 400 right now, so we're closing in. Once we get to 50,000, we're giving away another free hoodie. Also, guys, if you want to, you can sign up for a channel membership by clicking the little join button right below the video. Members get exclusive early access to all of my videos and get their names up on screen just like right now. And perhaps most importantly, guys, they get access to our members only giveaways. We're going to be giving away a free hoodie at least once a month. And as the member numbers increase, guys, we're going to be increasing the giveaways. The dream would be to give away like a hoodie or a t-shirt or something every single week. I really appreciate the support from all of you. Seeing that badge next to your comments keeps me fired up and motivated to make this channel even bigger and better. All of our videos are sponsored by StumpTheSpread.com. We have a team of experienced cappers over there for every major sport, currently covering NBA, college basketball, UFC, NHL, and we've got Major League Baseball right around the corner. Click the link in the description to go over to StumpTheSpread.com and check us out. If you're not sure if you want to sign up for our premium membership right away, totally understandable. Just sign up for our free email list. That'll get you updates on our results and free picks straight to your inbox. And those free picks have been on a pretty sick run. The email picks have been, killing it lately. So definitely worth signing up for there. Comment below with any bets you're looking at today. I do my absolute best to get back to every single comment as soon as possible, but I can 100% guarantee you that every single comment will eventually be answered by me personally. I'm the only one that deals with these. I'm the only one that sees them, and I see all of them every single day. They come straight to my phone, whether I get a chance to answer them or not. I do have a newborn in the house, so things are a little bit chaotic, but I'm working on that comment backlog. As always, our favorite picks will be in the pinned comment down below. Now let's get into our first game of the day, guys. We've got the Golden State Warriors going on the road to take on the Orlando Magic. The Warriors come into this game playing pretty well. There's an argument to be made that they're playing their best basketball, maybe of the season, but certainly here in the later part of the year. They're 31-27, fresh off a dismantling, blowout win there against the Charlotte Hornets, which I'm not going to freak out about that too much. That's not, some insanely good performance there by the Warriors, but they'll definitely take it. You're beating the Hornets, so that's, they're maybe the worst team in the NBA at the moment, but we saw Steph only play 24 minutes in the game, double-digit scoring across the board pretty much. Jimmy Butler only had to play 19 minutes in the game, was still a plus 17. Like, Buddy Hield, Gary Payton II both played great off the bench, and yeah, the Warriors just comfortably take care of business there. We love what they're doing recently, though. A blowout win against the Mavs, a blowout win against the Kings, a nice win there against the Rockets, and yeah, things are headed in the right direction, guys. The Warriors are climbing the standings out there in the West, and I would say they probably have their eyes focused on that 6th seed. They're already in the 8th seed. They're only one game back of the Clippers for that 6th seed, and they're 5 games back of the Rockets, a team that's having a little bit of a rough time without Fred VanVleet. So maybe the Warriors can even have bigger aspirations than that, but we'll see what they do here. They're on the road for this game, taking on the Orlando Magic, who are 29-31, and they're not having a great time. They're fresh off a blowout loss there against the Cavaliers. They never had a prayer in that game. Clearly just a team that's on a completely different level than them. Nothing good happening there. I mean, you see every once in a while, Franz Wagner or Paolo Banchero make some big play, but half the time it feels like they're out there by themselves. There's just not a lot of shot making around them, and it's just not looking so great. I mean, the dream is that when Jalen Suggs comes back, that he's going to kind of save the day for this team, amping things up there, giving them a little bit of shooting and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's no indication that he's going to miss the rest of the season with that quad injury, but Yeah, it's very uncertain when he's eventually going to come back. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, there's a chance we maybe don't even see him. The news is swirling out there on Jalen Suggs. So looks like they won't have him for this game. The Magic are getting 5.5 points in this one. We've got a total of 210.5. The Warriors 15, 12, and 1 against spread on the road. They are 13 and 17 against spread after win, but that's a number that it was acquired over the course of, a very up and down season. Orlando's been a good against the spread team at home this year, 17, 12, and 1 against the spread on their home court, but that hasn't been great recently, and they're only 12, 17, and 1 against spread after a loss. They're an under team. I'm not taking under 210.5, but I'm definitely taking the Golden State Warriors here to win this game by at least 6. They're by far the better team with no Jalen Suggs out there. I think we're going to see guys like Curry and just everybody. Like the Warriors team is just way, way better right now. Are Wagner and Banchero going to score some points? Sure. Other than that, the Magic aren't going to do too much, and the Warriors are going to win this game comfortably. Next up, guys, we got the Denver Nuggets going on the road to take on the Milwaukee Bucks. The Nuggets come into this game 38-20 on the season, fresh off a 125-116 win over the Pacers. I'm pretty sure that was one of those email plays that I've been talking about, guys. So definitely get in there, get on that list, because that was an easy win. I think the Nuggets were only 4-point favorites or something like that in that game, and they took care of business pretty convincingly. Aaron Gordon, a big night in that one. A very, very good performance by him. Jamal Murray continues to play well. Jokic, of course, playing great. Christian Brown continues to put up great numbers. He's scoring at a very efficient rate and always getting those rebounds, a good high effort rebounder guy. And we've even seen some good stuff coming from the bench unit. Obviously getting Russell Westbrook, definitely helpful there. So loving what we're seeing from the Nuggets right now. They come into this game looking a little bit, we see some guys in the injury report, but that's always the case for the Nuggets, guys. Jamal Murray's on there. Aaron Gordon's on there. Jamal Murray, guys, he's probable with, continued knee injury management. Aaron Gordon with his calf issue, also probable. So looks like we should have the full strength Nuggets here as they go on the road to take on the Milwaukee Bucks, who are fresh off of a tough 100-97 loss there at the Rockets. But we did have the Milwaukee Bucks plus 4.5. So we'll take that one. It got a little sketchy there at the last couple of minutes of the game, not going to lie, but we loved what we saw from Giannis. At least he played well. Dame played well. Bobby Portis being out definitely hurts this bench unit. AJ Green leading the way, going 4 of 8 from 3 for 12 points. That's nice, but as a team, they only shot 32.4% from long range. That's not generally going to get the ball done and get the job done, and they kind of got crushed on the boards there by the Rockets. So could be a little bit of a tough look here for the Milwaukee Bucks. They come into this game looking very healthy. Obviously, the Kuzma addition is supposed to be paying big dividends. We'll see what happens down the stretch, but I have a hard time really having a ton of faith in any team that has Taurean Prince in the starting lineup at this point in his career. That's just not looking great right now, guys. And looking at the numbers, the odds makers have some faith in Milwaukee. They're only 2.5-point underdogs here at home. We've got a total of 240.5. Denver 14-15 against spread on the road, 20-16-1 against spread after win, and they're 35-23 to the over. Milwaukee 14-13-1 against spread at home, 11-13 against spread after a loss, and they are 30-28 to the under. Guys, this is another spot. I'm sided with the road team here. I like the Denver Nuggets on the road here to get a comfortable win and cover against the Milwaukee Bucks. Nobody on Milwaukee can really guard Jokic. I don't know if anybody on the Nuggets can really, truly guard Giannis, but nobody really can. I don't think that's going to matter, though. Giannis goes out and puts up 30, cool. Dame puts up 30, cool. That's going to mean the Bucks probably score like 100, 105 points. The Nuggets are going to put up 125 to 150 in this game. I think Denver wins this game walking away. Next on the docket, we got the Charlotte Hornets going on the road to take on the Dallas Mavericks. The Hornets are looking like probably the worst team in the NBA right now, guys. They've just lost by 1 billion points now 3 games in a row, getting destroyed at Portland, at Sacramento, and at Golden State. Now they got to go to Dallas. I don't know if things are really about to get any better here for Charlotte. They're a team that's actively tanking. That's fine. They've got, some of their best players are out there. You see Miles Bridges and LaMelo Ball playing on a nightly basis, but it's just not mattering, guys. This team is straight up bad. The second unit is abysmal. Nurkic getting minutes off the pine, not a great look. Elfrid Payton, guy didn't even start off the season in the NBA. So we'll see what goes on with the Hornets, but not going to waste a bunch of your guys' time talking about Charlotte. They are god-awful right now, and they're going on the road to take on a Dallas Mavericks team that's fresh off of a loss that probably stung quite a bit, losing to Luka and the Lakers after having, their chances in that game. Obviously, Dallas, doesn't have Anthony Davis. We don't know when they're going to have Anthony Davis, but still, losing to Luka by 8 probably doesn't feel great. They fought in that game. They probably should have lost by more than 8, to be honest, but they only scored 99 points despite Kyrie putting up 35. That is a pretty brutal look. So now they get, an easy opponent. We'll see how they can handle Charlotte here. We do have PJ Washington and Dwight Powell both on the injury list. Pretty important guys there, especially PJ Washington. With that ankle issue, he did play there against the Lakers, played 35 minutes. but he looked terrible, guys. He went 0 of 9 from the field, scoring 0 points. He was only a -4. He had lots of, other stats that he put up in the game, but it was a pretty brutal shooting night there for PJ Washington. So he's certainly in a bounce back spot. Dwight Powell with his hip issue, he's questionable. So I think it's fairly likely we see him out there, but I don't really care too much about that, guys. The Mavs are 10-point favorites in this game. We've got a total of 223.5. Charlotte 13-14-1 against spread on the road, 20-22 against spread after loss, 35-22 to the under. Dallas 18-11 against spread at home, 16-10-1 against spread after a loss, and 30-29 to the over. Guys, we're siding with the favorite here. At least it's a home team in this one. Give me the Dallas Mavericks at -10. I think they're going to comfortably just destroy the Charlotte Hornets. Yeah, Charlotte not even trying, it doesn't feel like at this point. The Mavs maybe don't have, the perfect team to just inflict their will upon Charlotte like some of these other squads have, but I think Dallas gets a comfortable double-digit win in this one. I know the Hornets are in the biggest of bounce-back spots, but it just doesn't feel like they're up to the task of trying at playing basketball at the minute. Hey guys, jumping in here with a quick ad break. This is a great time to sign up for StompTheSpread.com. Signing up for a premium membership gets you access to our top confidence plays on all the major sports. We're currently covering NCAA basketball, the NBA, NHL, UFC, and the NFL. We have a team of professional cappers that work extremely hard putting in the research on these games every day so you don't have to. We make things very easy for you with pick notifications directly to your phone and unit sizes assigned to each play so you can see where our confidence level is on every individual matchup. To test out the service before you buy, join our free email list, get the occasional free or premium pick straight to your inbox. Just click the link in the description to sign up for a free account. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Now guys, back to the games. Next on the docket, we're looking at the New Orleans Pelicans going on the road in this one to take on the Phoenix Suns. The Pelicans come into this game 15-43 on the season, so not exactly having an amazing year, but they have won 3 out of their last 4. They did lose to the Mavs in there, but they just won back-to-back games against the Spurs, albeit, the Spurs not great, but we're loving what we're seeing right now from the Pelicans as a team. We're seeing Trey Murphy III continue to play really, really well. We love what we're seeing from Zion. Obviously, he's, kind of taking care of himself, and if he can do that over a full offseason, I think we'd see a monster year from Zion. That last game was only a 6-point win against the Spurs. That was mostly due to New Orleans really, really struggling to shoot the ball. So there's a lot of positive things to look at for the Pelicans. It sucks that they're, way, way out of playoff contention, but they come into this game looking fairly healthy. Kelly Olynyk probably out, Bruce Brown probably out, but Zion, CJ, Trey Murphy III, all healthy and ready to go. Also, Jordan Hawkins coming off the pine is a nice thing to have. So we're liking what we're seeing from the Pelicans right now. They're playing pretty well, headed in a positive direction, but I cannot say the same thing for the Phoenix Suns, guys. They've lost, 6 out of their last 7 games. Their only win was a very close one at Chicago. They just lost a heartbreaker against the Grizzlies. The game before that, they lost at the Raptors. Now they got a home game that's against the Pelicans, but Phoenix, they have not really been a good home team this year. Kevin Durant reportedly just hates his freaking life there, and I can't really blame him. There's all the news, swirling. Oh, did he make a huge mistake by not going back to the Warriors? Like, I'm not here to judge on that, but I am here to say that this, Suns team is terrible and the vibes are horrendous. So we'll see what they can do at home in this one. The odds makers have them as 7.5-point favorites. We've got a total of 236. New Orleans 8-20 against spread on the road. That's the NBA worst against the spread record on the road. They're 6-8 against spread after a win. They are 32-25-1 to the over. Phoenix 8-18-1 against spread at home. That's an NBA worst mark at home. They're a 500 against the spread team after a loss. They are 29-29 to the over-under. Guys, I'm taking the Pelicans and the points. I don't see any reason that the Suns should be this big of favorites or favorites at all, to be honest, against really any team. I like what we're seeing from New Orleans right now. I think they've got what it takes to at least keep this game close, and they could straight up win this one if they have a decent shooting night. So definitely give me the Pelicans this one against the floundering Phoenix Suns. Rolling right along, guys, we're looking at the Minnesota Timberwolves going on the road to take on the Los Angeles Lakers. The Timberwolves come into this game 32-27 on the year, fresh off of a very crazy come-from-behind, massive, wild, insane win there at the Thunder. They overcame, was it a 24-point deficit, if I remember correctly? Just crazy, crazy stuff there. Yeah, embarrassing stuff. 25-point deficit, that's what it was, to eventually win in overtime. Yeah, I don't know. The Timberwolves bench really brought him back in this game. We didn't love what we saw from Ant, but we saw lots of, big, I mean, Jalen Williams played really, really well for the Thunder, but we saw Jaden McDaniels play amazing there for the Timberwolves, putting up 27 points. Nas Reed, 22. Only 17 from Anthony Edwards, who had a pretty bad shooting night, but almost messed around and found a triple-double. 21 points from Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Terrence Shannon Jr. played really, really well, and the Timberwolves managed to win this game despite shooting 28% from three-point range. So, yeah, the Thunder really let their foot off the gas there in the fourth quarter. Kind of embarrassing for them to let that happen, but they're going to move on. They're going to be okay. But the Timberwolves come into this game probably feeling pretty good about themselves, although this is a team that kind of lacks something of an identity. Like, what are you, what's the deal? What's the deal with this team when the bench is coming in and outplaying the starters? Like, that's pretty brutal. We see Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert still out, Dante DiVincenzo out as well, but he's getting back. I mean, actually no, he's questionable, so he could be out there for this game. Seems unlikely that he would be back for this one, but he's getting close, and eventually we're going to see the full strength Timberwolves. We'll see what that looks like in the long term, but right now, guys, they're fairly banged up. Even Anthony Edwards is on that injury report. I fully expect him to play in this game, but he's questionable with right calf soreness, so you never know. Weirder things have happened. The Timberwolves are going on the road in this one to take on the Lakers, who are probably feeling decent about that 8-point win against the Mavs. It was a max effort game there from the Mavs, but yeah, we saw the Lakers hold on, figure things out there at the end. Luka did not have the best night out there ever. I mean, LeBron led the team in scoring. Luka, what did he end up with? Yeah, only 6 of 17 from the field, 1 of 7 from 3 for 19 points. He was a +8. The Lakers bench did not look great. They also really struggled shooting the ball, so they're in a bit of a bounce back spot. They dominated the boards. They really should have won that game comfortably, but they messed around a little bit and finally end up winning by only 8, which gave us the push and a lot of people the loss because that line did move. So yeah, that was an annoying one, but the Lakers, they're okay. They're coming into this game relatively healthy. LeBron on the injury report as always, but we fully expect him to play, and other than that, the Lakers are healthy. They're 5.5-point favorites at home in this game. We've got a total of 224.5. The Timberwolves 16-13 against spread on the road, but 14-17 against spread after a win, and they're in a huge letdown spot after that crazy win. They're also a slight over team. We see the Lakers 16-11 against spread at home, 18-15-1 against spread after win, and they are a slight under team. Guys, we're taking the home team in this one. I like the Lakers at -5.5. We see the Timberwolves in a huge letdown spot. I don't expect all those role players to play amazing once again in this game. Not 2 games in a row. I like a lot of the pieces the Lakers have here. This is probably a game that I am the least confident in out of the entire NBA slate. We may end up with 4 NBA games out of 5 there in the pinned comment because I'm feeling very, very good about all the other ones. But this Lakers one, probably just going to end up being a small lean. Now, guys, switching gears, we're going to hop over and look at some of the games on a pretty interesting, maybe not super loaded, but a pretty interesting college basketball slate. And first up, we're headed to the American, guys. We're looking at North Texas going on the road to take on Florida Atlantic. The North Texas Mean Green, 20-6 on the season. They're currently in second place, only 1 loss back of Memphis there in the race for the top spot. And they're fresh off of a nice, not a dominant, but a 7-point win there at South Florida. So a good win on the road. They're already in Florida, so they didn't have to travel a ton for this game or anything like that to just go ahead and take on Florida Atlantic. They've won 4 in a row now after a couple tough losses. They lost against UAB and UTSA, so not the worst losses in the world, and both those games were close. So we like what we're seeing from North Texas here down the stretch. They did beat FAU rather handily earlier this season, a 77-64 win there. This isn't a team that really focuses too much on offense. They're a very good rebounding team and a very, very good defensive team. They don't have a lot of monster leading scorers. They're not going to necessarily, go nuts out there on offense, but they're going to grind it out and make you really, really fight to even stay in the games against them. Every bucket you get against the Mean Green is going to be a tough bucket. So we'll see what they can do here on the road against FAU, guys. Florida Atlantic 15-12 on the season, so not exactly having a great time. They're only 8-6 in conference play. They're fresh off a couple losses. They just lost in a blowout there at Memphis, so that wasn't great. They didn't keep things particularly competitive against Wichita State either. So, yeah, they've kind of fallen off here. Those were 2 big chances for them to put up some numbers, and it didn't really happen. They are a pretty good offensive team, averaging just over 80 points per game, but the defensive numbers, while they look fine, I wouldn't say they're amazing. They didn't look great in their last 2 games, that's for sure. I mean, giving up 75 to Wichita State, not a team really known for its amazing offense. A little bit embarrassing. They're decent on the boards and stuff like that. They've got, no major crazy leading scores, but they've got some talent on the roster. The last time they faced North Texas, they took a 64-77 loss there, and that was despite, not super even, but relatively even free throw numbers. They didn't shoot the ball very well from 3 at all. I mean, 7 of 22 isn't horrible, 31% from 3, but they got, even numbers on the boards, but just the shot making was there for North Texas, and they made things very, very tough on Florida Atlantic. Now, we've got a pretty even game. The odds makers have this as a borderline flip. Florida Atlantic getting 1.5 points at home. We've got a total of 135.5. North Texas, they've been a solid road team, guys. They are 5-3-2 against spread on the road. They're 12-11-1 to the under. FAU only 3-6-1 against spread at home. They're a slight over team. guys, I'm definitely leaning towards North Texas in this spot. Despite the fact they're on the road, I think they are the much better team right now. They've got what it takes to slow down Florida Atlantic, a team that really is running out of hope for this season. Next up, guys, we are headed to the SoCon. We're looking at the Chattanooga Mocs going on the road to take on UNC Greensboro. Chattanooga comes in this game 21-8 on the season. They're the top team in the conference, only one game up on UNC Greensboro. So this is a crazy game, guys. A fight for the top spot in the conference. We see Chattanooga fresh off a 1-point win over the Citadel. So clearly falling victim to the look-ahead spot a little bit, but they managed to get the win. So technically no harm, no foul, but that has to shake your confidence just a little bit to play a game that close against a team, you have to consider yourselves quite a bit better than. We'll see what they do in this one. They already lost against UNC Greensboro earlier this season, a very close 78-75 loss. So that was pretty brutal. Over the course of the season, the Mocs, a very good offensive team, but the defense, not so hot. The rebounding, not so hot either. So we'll see what they can put together in this one. Going on the road is a little bit tough. The UNC Greensboro Spartans come into this game fresh off a nice win at Mercer, a comfortable 17-point win. They did have a bit of a hiccup there against ETSU the game before that, losing 65-49. So a team that can have their issues. They are a solid rebounding team, solid on defense, but not a ton of offensive firepower. They rely a lot on Kenyon Gills, in his 16 points per game, but yeah, it's a little bit tough, guys. And I mean, the last time these two teams met, it was quite the nail biter. It came down very much to the wire there. Chattanooga shot 40% from three, but we saw UNC Greensboro shoot close to 50% from three. Very few free throws in the game in general. The rebounding numbers were pretty even also. So it looks like a relatively even game in this spot, but looking at the numbers here, UNC Greensboro, 1.5-point favorites at home. We've got a total of 143.5. Chattanooga actually 9-4 against the spread on the road this season. That's pretty interesting. They're a slight over team. UNC Greensboro 5-4 against spread at home, 14-11-1 to the under. I'm going to go ahead and ride that trend, guys. Give me Chattanooga and the free 1.5 here on the road. I think they find a way to come away with the win in this game in the revenge spot in a huge game. I think they're the slightly more talented team, but I think this is going to be a very close one, guys. It's probably not going in the pinned comment. Next up, we're looking at the Oakland Golden Grizzlies going on the road to take on the Milwaukee Panthers. This is out in the horizon, guys, and Oakland comes into this game fresh off a win over Cleveland State. They've actually won 3 out of their last 4, so kind of a little heater here for an Oakland team that's been middle of the road out there in the horizon basically all year long. They're 10-8 in conference play. They've got a decent, defense, I guess, but the offensive numbers have been very problematic. They've been better recently. I mean, 91 against Cleveland State, only 66 at Purdue Fort Wayne, but 93 against Detroit Mercy. So we'll see what they do here against Milwaukee. This isn't exactly a Golden Grizzlies team that I'm super stoked about, but Milwaukee's been playing better. They're 19-10 on the season. They are fresh off a tough loss at Robert Morris. They lost that game 72-59, so didn't keep it as close as they would have wanted. They're, I don't know, guys. They've been a hard team to figure out. They've had a decent season. They're 12-6 in conference play, so that's not horrible. Their offensive numbers are elite. Their rebounding numbers are very good. Like, they like to get out and run, play with some pace, but those defensive numbers, not exactly defensive numbers you want to write home about. So we'll see what they can do against Oakland, a team that actually lost to, kind of embarrassingly, a 65-49 blowout loss at Oakland earlier in the season. So we'll see if they've got a bounce back in them. They're 5.5-point favorites in this game. We've got a total of 146.5. Oakland 6-8 against spread on the road, 14-14 to the over/under. Milwaukee 6-5 against spread at home, 14-13 to the over. Guys, I'm going to be taking Milwaukee at -5.5 at home in this one. It's a good revenge spot. I think they're going to have the best player on the floor in this one, and Themis Folks. I like their style of play a lot better. I think at home, they'll be able to inflict their faster up-tempo style on this Oakland team that's going to be very uncomfortable playing that way, and I think that's why we like Milwaukee here to win by at least 6. Next up, guys, we're headed to the Big Ten. We've got the Rutgers Scarlet Knights going on the road to take on Michigan. Rutgers comes in this game winners over the last 2 in a row. They took down Washington in a close one, and then a solid 10-point win against USC. So they've got to feel good about that one. We love what we're seeing from young Dylan Harper this season. 20 points per game, nearly 50% from the field. A very dynamic young scorer. He's put up some big, gaudy numbers on offense. We'll see what he can do against, some better teams here. But yeah, it's been nice. We've liked what we've seen from Rutgers. I mean, they played a 3-point game against Michigan earlier this season. They did lose that game, but they've done some positive things despite, being a team that's down there towards the, the middle to bottom of the standings there in the Big Ten. They've got a tough task here taking on number 15 Michigan, though. The Wolverines come to this game 21-6 on the season. They're fresh off a crazy rock fight of a 49-46 win there at Nebraska. That was a bounce back after a poor showing against Michigan State, where they eventually lost 75-62. So we'll see what they can do here against Rutgers. I mean, they've got a good team. They're 50th in the nation offense, 50th in the nation rebounding. They're a decent, defensive team. So there's a lot of positive things to say about this team. But the last time they met up against Rutgers, this was a close game. I mean, we saw Michigan shoot 35% from three. They shot 8 more free throws than Rutgers, and Rutgers still almost was able to steal this game despite shooting 27% from long range. So we'll see what happens in this one. Michigan, 9.5-point favorites. We got a total of 154.5. Rutgers, 3-5-1 against the spread on the road, 15-12-1 to the over. Michigan, 6-7 against the spread at home. They are 14-13 to the over. Guys, Michigan has Illinois on deck. I don't think that's a huge concern, but we do see Rutgers with Purdue on deck, and they need to be winning these games. They're in desperation mode if they want to climb the standings and try and end up in the NCAA tournament. Guys, give me Rutgers and the points in this one as a very small lean. I think their super high effort play will keep them in this game, but I just think it's very unlikely they could possibly come away with a win. Next up, guys, we're looking at the UAB Blazers going on the road to take on Wichita State. UAB, not exactly the season they've dreamed of, but they're only 1 game back of Memphis there in the standings in the American. So that's definitely a positive. They've won their last 3 in a row, a nice win at home against Temple their last time out. So they're playing really well. I mean, Yaxel Lendenborg, a monster, 18 points per game, 5 assists, shooting almost 56% from the field. Like, he's amazing. This offense is fantastic, kind of what you expect to see from UAB. The rebounding numbers, a function of their pace of play for sure, but still a solid team crashing the boards, and their defense, that's kind of what goes by the wayside. So we'll see what they can do here against a Wichita State team that's been an interesting squad, no doubt about that. We'll see. Wichita State comes into this game, guys. They're 7-7 in conference play. They're 17-10 on the year, but they've now won 6 in a row, including a win against Memphis, a win at FAU, and last time out, guys, they get an 11-point win against Tulane. So they are, I would say they're borderline cruising right now. They are playing some of their best ball of the season at the best time to be playing well. Conference tournament time right around the corner, and they've got a chance to knock off some pretty good teams here down the stretch. So we'll see what happens. They're an elite rebounding team. They play some defense, and the offensive numbers are headed in the right direction. Xavier Bell, a very solid player as well. So I'm not shocked here to see Wichita State as 1.5-point favorites on their home court. We've got a total of 154.5. UAB, 4-4 against spread on the road, 14-11-1 to the over. Wichita State, 5-7-2 against spread at home, but they're playing much better recently, and they're a significant under team this year. This is a tough one, guys. It feels a bit like a flip to me, and when it's a flip, I'm going to be leaning towards the team that's playing at home at least some amount of the time, and the hot hand, and I think the hot team right now is Wichita State. So give me the Shockers here at home, but not a play that's going in the pinned comment. Next up, guys, we have a big rivalry game out there in the big sky. We've got the Idaho State Bengals going on the road to take on the Idaho Vandals. Idaho State comes in this game 13-13 on the season, but they have won 2 in a row, and they are holding serve in this one, guys. They got the 87-71 win in this game earlier this season. That was a home game there for Idaho State. So this time they're going to be on the road. They're going to need big stuff there from Dylan Darling. He's been their darling, 20 points per game, 6 assists. Maybe not the most efficient shooter, but he is going to shoot them. And they're a good rebounding team. Their defense is nice. So there's a lot of things to like here about this Idaho State team. And they're going on the road to take on an Idaho squad that's 12-16 on the year. They're fresh off a loss against Northern Colorado. Not the most competitive loss either. So we'll see what goes on. They don't have a big-time leading scorer. Their rebounding numbers, very pedestrian. The defensive numbers, also not great. So, yeah, we'll see what they can get done here against Idaho State. But at Idaho State earlier in the season, we saw Idaho shoot the ball pretty poorly. They got to the line 20 times, but there were a lot of free throws in this game. The biggest problem is they got dominated on the boards, and they let Idaho State shoot 62% from three-point range. So I'm pretty concerned about Idaho in this matchup, guys. They're getting only 1.5 points at home. We've got a total of 150.5. Idaho State is a very good road team, 8-5 against spread on the road, 15-7-1 to the over. Idaho, they are 4-5-1 against spread at home. They're 17-9 to the over. So if you want to take over 150.5, I totally get that. There was 158 total points scored the first time these teams faced each other, but we saw some uncharacteristically hot shooting out there from Idaho State. So I'm not going to be on that over-under. I do think you want to shade towards Idaho State, but guys, this is a big rivalry game, so anything could conceivably happen out there. Next on the docket, we're looking at UT Arlington going on the road to take on Grand Canyon. UT Arlington comes into this game only 13-14 on the season. They are fresh off a win over Tarleton State. They've won 2 out of their last 3, but the loss in there was a loss to Grand Canyon, where they lost by 7 points, so a competitive game. This isn't a great defensive team. Their rebounding isn't awesome. They play some defense. They don't have any monster leading scores though, so I've got my concerns here about UT Arlington on the road. Take on the Grand Canyon Lopes, who are currently second in the WAC, guys, and that's not where they wanted to be. They're fresh off a win against CA Baptist, a 2-point win though. They've been playing well, there's no doubt about it, but they've lost some tough games, and they really, they're a team that expected to win this conference. So we'll see if they can take care of business once tournament time rolls around, but they are a solid team, guys. They're top 80 in points per game, top 80 in rebounding. They're a good defensive team as well, so I don't have a lot of bad things to say about Grand Canyon. The last time they faced UT Arlington, it was a competitive game, though. I mean, we saw them come out. It was a 1-point game at halftime, and they eventually pulled away, but only to win by 7. Grand Canyon shot 40% from 3 in that game. You can't count on that happening every night. It was even on the board, so guys, look at the numbers. Grand Canyon, 10.5-point favorites in this game. I mean, they got Seattle U, a trip to Seattle U on deck. Like, that's a little bit of a tough environment, so maybe there's a look-ahead angle. UT Arlington, 6-6 against spread on the road, 13-12 to the under. Grand Canyon, 4-10 against the spread at home. That's not very good, guys. And they're a slight under team as well. You want to take under 151.5? Sure. But I think you want to be on UT Arlington and the points. I think they've got what it takes to keep this game close once again. Against the Grand Canyon team is going to be focused on just getting the win and probably less on getting the blowout. Next on the docket, guys, we're headed to the CUSA. We're looking at the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers going on the road to take on the UTEP Miners. Western Kentucky comes into this game fresh off a 1-point win there against Louisiana Tech. That was a clincher, guys. That was really, really close. That was probably not the game that they imagined. I mean, Western Kentucky hasn't exactly had the season they imagined either, at only 6-8 in conference play and 15-12 overall. Don McHenry, a very good leading scorer, almost 18 points per game, but you're shooting only 40% from the field. Probably not time for me to freak out about you. So we'll see what they do in this one. They're a decent offensive team. The rebounding numbers are solid, but the defense, guys, has just not been there this season for the Hilltoppers. So they're going on the road here to take on the UTEP Miners, who are 17-10 this season, which doesn't look too bad, but they have lost 3 in a row, and in conference play, they're only 7-7, losing at Jackson State, by 8 points their last time out, at Kennesaw State by 10 the time before that. Like, it's been a little bit brutal. Now they got to take on a Western Kentucky team that they already lost to by 4 earlier this season. It seems like a bit of a tall task here. I mean, we like what we're seeing this season from Otis Frazier III, but the rebounding numbers are just so atrocious for this team. Their defense is okay. Their offense is okay-ish, but that rebounding really, really makes me worried here. And UTEP, they are 4.5-point favorites at home. We've got a total of 150.5. Western Kentucky, 6-5 against spread on the road, 16-10 to the under. UTEP, 4-6-1 against spread at home. They're 13-10-1 to the over. So this is a weird spot, guys. A little bit of a tough spot, but I'm going to lean towards Western Kentucky here. I just think they're the better team right now, and they're getting 4.5 points. I kind of feel like the wrong team is favored in this spot. The last time these two teams met, we saw a slight rebounding edge go towards Western Kentucky. I think that could get even worse in this game, and we also saw UTEP shoot more free throws in that game. If we see that even out in this one, I think Western Kentucky has a chance to be the straight-up winners. Last but not least here, guys, we're looking at number 23, St. Mary's, going on the road to take on Loyola Marymount. St. Mary's, guys, they have dominated things out in the WCC, taking down Gonzaga twice. Thank you, St. Mary's. We were on St. Mary's and the points in that one. Felt like a great play, and sure enough, they win it straight up. So big time win there at Gonzaga, winning 74-67 their last time out. Now they have to stay locked in, though, for their last couple of games of the season. And we'll see what they can do here, guys. They're on the road to take on this Loyola Marymount squad. I mean, against LMU, they got a blowout, almost 25-point win earlier this season. So we'll see if they can stay locked in, keep playing that suffocating elite defense, and keep crushing opponents on the boards. The Loyola Marymount Lions, guys, 16-13 on the season. They're down there in the middle of the conference in terms of, conference record. They are fresh off a win against Pepperdine. They'll definitely take that, but it's not like Pepperdine has been a monster this year either. This team doesn't really have a ton of great offensive options. They're rebounding very middle of the road. I think it's a big, big concern in this game. We've got not a great defense out there either, and this is their last game of the season, so we'll see what they do in this one. I'm a little bit worried, though. Despite the fact they're getting 13.5 points, we've got a total of 132.5. St. Mary's has been monsters against spread on the road. They're 7-2 against spread on the road this season. They're 16-11-1 to the under. We see LMU, guys, they are 7-8 against spread at home, 14-13-1 to the under. This is not the last game for St. Mary's on their conference schedule either. So, guys, I'm actually leaning a bit here towards the Gales to get the win and cover. I do worry about the letdown after a huge emotional win there against Gonzaga. So, honestly, if you wanted to take Loyola Marymount in the first half, that could make some sense to me as well. But I think this is a spot where the Gales are going to come through and just crush on the boards and end up winning this game by closer to 20. That's all the games we have for today, guys. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Both of those things help us get closer to giving away another hoodie. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. Make sure you get over to stumpthespread.com so you can get on that free email list and check out our premium picks if you're interested in that also. And guys, we will see you tomorrow for more sports betting action.